I'm an idiot. I recorded all of my videos. I just recorded like 3 or 4 videos, and there was an echo. So now I'm going back and fixing it. But it's time to talk about the best, worst first quarter team in the league. That is my Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I have to say, I'm gonna frame this. How this video is gonna be framed around that statement. So, the Philadelphia Eagles currently in the NFL average. Why do I say that? Currently average 1.3 points per game. So when I came up with this idea, this is before the Carolina Panthers game, and I had realized before that game they were averaging 1.4 points per game, which is unacceptable. And what's funny is the first points of the season in the first quarter didn't come until week 9, which was in November. So they went from September, with all of September, all of October, and got to November. I think they played a game before in November, and they had 0 points in the first quarter. 0, not a field goal, not a safety, nothing. 0 points in the first quarter. And I wanted to talk about that because it seems like everything that the Eagles do just does not work in the first quarter. There's been bad starts against the Packers, 2 turnovers there. The Saints was horrible in the first half, not even the first quarter, the first half. The Cowboys started off slow. The Commanders, we started off slow. And the Ravens, we started off slow. And even the Carolina Panthers, which I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Nothing seems to work on either side of the ball. But they always seem to figure it out. So I can't fault them because they won 9 games in a row. I can't fault them for that. They make adjustments. They are keen on making adjustments and making them quick. They don't let teams continue to do the same things over and over again. That was the problem before the bye. Neither side of the ball really made adjustments. And since the bye, on offense, the Eagles have just ran the ball more effectively. Every time the Eagles throw more than they run, it's usually a good sign for the team. But versus the Ravens, that was a perfect example. We gave up 9 points to start in the first quarter. Reed Blankenship got mossed by Mark Andrews. He made him look like a child. He got mossed in the first, and then there was a busted coverage from Zay Flowers, where Zay Flowers caught a ball for like 40, 50 yards, and that led to that catch for Mark Andrews, I believe. So, but after that, the defense stepped up big time. There was a garbage time touchdown, but I don't like counting garbage time touchdowns. The defense really only held the Baltimore Ravens for 3 points from the second quarter all the way until the last 10 seconds of the game. They only held the Baltimore Ravens to 3 points. Lamar Jackson is leading the league in passing yards, and he has been dominating. He was the MVP frontrunner before that game, and the defense showed up and showed out. Zach Bond made a huge tackle in the second quarter that it did. Like, if the Ravens had gone on a drive there, we would have really been in deep concern. But he shut down the drive early for them. And Derrick Henry never really got going. His longest rush was 10 yards. They were throwing him the ball, which was weird. They weren't handing the ball off to him like from under center, which is where he's at his best. Trying to get him the ball on the outside from shotgun formation never works. But in every scenario, the Eagles, were there not letting Derrick Henry get comfortable, not letting him get downhill, not letting him get busy at all, which was a great job from that front seven. They were always corralling around the football, making sure stuff wasn't easy. And then throw in Cooper DeJean's perfect form tackling right there towards the end of the game, where he showed what high school coaches will be showing for the next 20 years. Form tackling, where he got low, wrapped him up, took him down. I don't think I've ever seen a perfect form tackle in a game all my life until that point. It was like, wow, he really did that to him. It was crazy. But shout out to Cooper. Shout out to Tristan McCollum. He stepped in when Reed Blankenship got hurt. He got a big PBU on 4th down in the 4th quarter and late in the game. He hadn't been in the game long, but he stepped up. We went zone. Zay Flowers is working across the middle. He stepped up big time to get a PBU. I'm going to show that clip on the green screen. But yeah. And then that was on defense. The defense did their job. They had a bunch of sacks. They had a a good portion, I believe 2 of their field goals that were missed by Justin Tucker. There was a sack on the previous play. Lamar took a sack, and it pushed them back at least 6 or 7 yards, which may have played a hand in Justin Tucker missing a couple of those field goals. But them getting those sacks were huge. And in hindsight, they were amazing. Like, in the moment, it's like, okay, we don't give up 3, and then they missed a field goal. And I'm not thinking while watching the game, oh my God, the reason why he missed that field goal may have something to do with the fact that Zach Bond got a sack or Jalen Carter got a sack. So they weren't letting Lamar run around until the last couple seconds of the game. The offense, we didn't look great in the first quarter at all. We looked horrible. The couple 3-and-outs, but the offense found its groove in that second quarter, running RPOs, getting that ball to AJ Brown as we should continue to do. Dallas Goedert catching a huge touchdown for us. But in the second half, we hand the ball off to our workhorse in Saquon Barkley. And he, after this game, I'm not sure where the number is now. Let me actually check. After this game, he had 1,500 on the 1,499 as far as rush yards goes. So he had 90 more rush yards than Derrick Henry after that game. So he took over that rushing title, and he carried us to a win, which all we can ask for. We just need to keep winning. Jalen only had 118, but he did a great job of managing the game. He led his team. He did everything that he was supposed to do. In a nasty weather game, we tote the rock, and they continued to do that, and that was beautiful. So it was a great team win, and the videos of the team in the locker room were amazing. The vibes were there, and all of that. The reason why I'm saying that is because the Carolina Panthers. Okay, real quick, while I'm editing this, how y'all doing? I had a good friend of mine. He is from Philadelphia. He's a big Eagles fan, and he sent me a voice memo because I told him I was recording this video. He sent me a great voice memo describing or putting in great detail the topic at hand. So I want to put his voice memo in there before I move on to the next topic. I want to give a big shout out to my man TJ. Thank you. Like the video. Stop being weird.
Through the picture that you just sent, but one thing I think that needs to be said is for how bad they are in that first quarter, and sometimes even in the beginning of the second quarter, something has to be said for how good they are at adjusting. One of my biggest issues during like the Andy Reid, Chip Kelly eras was this team was so stubborn and so thick-headed that whatever game plan they drew up during the week, didn't matter if it was working or not, they would not deviate from that plan. They would never adjust for the blitz. They would never run more if they needed to be running the ball more. They were just so damn stubborn. It's like, oh, we put all this work into it all week long, so clearly we have to stick with it. We can't adapt. We can't change what we've been planning on doing all week. This crew does that, which is incredible. The problem is their game planning is all wrong during the week, and then when it comes time for them to think on the fly, they do a really good job of that and adjusting to what the other team is showing them. So it's this weird like paradox. Like, would you want them to be a really good first half team and then barely eke out some wins on the back end because they decide to stick with the same game plan while their opponents are adjusting in the locker room during halftime? Or would you rather have them, as they are, a first quarter, early second quarter team that knows how to change and knows how to adapt themselves based on what the other team is giving them for the second half? So it's two sides of that coin.
This game just finished, and you would have thought the sky is falling out. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I have to say this. Because a team's record is bad does not mean the team is bad. The Carolina Panthers were in the game versus us. They had a tie with a minute and a half left with the Kansas City Chiefs. They took them to the limit. They should have beat the Bucks, but Eddie Pinheiro missed 2 field goals. They are literally in every game they've played with Bryce Young. And because the team is starting to figure it out. This is how no fans don't watch football outside of their team. The Carolina Panthers aren't as bad as their record. And people acting like the spread was 13.5, and I was like, why would it be that many points? This game, I told my friend who's from Philly, this is gonna be a one possession game. It always is. Somebody put a couple $1 million on that game. I don't know why. You never bet, especially with a spread like that. That's insane. 13.5 points on the spread is ridiculous, and the fact that you bet $3 million on a football game that you have no control over is crazy. But in that game, the offense wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. Like, we've been Eagles fans. It's two things that really bother me. Especially when it's coming to Eagle fans. Some of these fans are like just fair weather, just looking to complain. For years, we have been yelling at Nick Sirianni to run the football. Like, just keep running the football. We've had to yell at a whole bunch of coaches to run the ball, or at least put the ball in the running back's hands. Saquon Barkley had 124 rushing yards and broke LaShawn McCoy's single season rushing record. Like, he has a little over 1,500 yards now, and he broke that. LaShawn McCoy's that dude, and he was excited to see that. No one's talking about that. Jalen Hurts, 3 touchdowns, 1 on the ground. Grant Calcaterra caught his first touchdown. Devontae Smith is back in action, caught a touchdown. We ain't talking about that. We ain't talking about the Eagles on a 9-game win streak. All we're talking about is a comment that A.J. Brown made about passing, and now all of a sudden, Jalen Hurts is the worst quarterback in the league. And I'm like, where's all of this coming from? All season long, we've gotten on him about not turning the ball over. He has 1 turnover in 10 games. In the last 10 games since the Bucs game, he has 1 turnover. That was against Dallas, or 2. But 2 turnovers in 10 games. We've been getting on him about that. He stopped putting the ball in dangerous spots. We started running the ball, and the sky is falling. We on a 9-game winning streak, and this hurts my head because some of these fans' logic makes no sense. I don't know where it's like you can't win Super Bowls with only having 100 passing yards. Well, I can bring up Peyton Manning winning 100-something yards, 123, I believe. Tom Brady with 145. Ben Roethlisberger with sub 150. Russell Wilson throwing 5 interceptions in the NFC Championship game and throwing a game-winning touchdown. Jared Goff just threw 5 interceptions versus the Houston Texans and is not getting near as much disrespect and hate from the media, the internet, and his fan base that Jalen Hurts gets from putting on not a bad game. It wasn't perfect by no means. He missed a couple of reads. He does that here every now and again. I'm not saying that he's a perfect quarterback. But if you're just going to go based on stats and that, oh, we played a bad team, we should dominate them. That's not how this works. This is the NFL. On a week-to-week basis, anybody can beat anybody. And this whole notion that Jalen Hurts sucks because he needs to be replaced, he's the problem. Everybody needs to shut up and just continue to watch the Eagles win. That is the only thing that matters in the NFL. It don't matter how bad it looks, because if that was the case, then people do it anyway. But people would have more slack for Patrick Mahomes for winning how he does. But he don't get no slack. Jalen Hurts gets all the slack, and he's not doing anything that puts the team in danger, that is hurting the team. I don't understand. I get it. People want this team. People see the names on this roster and the receiving group and expect this team to put up 30 points. When we were putting up 30 points, we were losing. We're putting up 20 to 25 to 26 points a game, and we're winning. And that's all that matters. I need everybody to calm down, including myself. Need to take a breath. We got the Steelers coming up. Big game. If Jalen Hurts goes out there, throws for 300 yards, and we lose, I want the same people that were all on Jalen Hurts' case. I want everybody to apologize, because now you got what you wanted, but we lost. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters, they don't give a damn about how many points you put up, how many yards you had, how many touchdowns you had. Winning is the only thing that matters on any level. That's all I got to say, man. This is the second time I had to record this, and I done got worked up again. So I'm gonna leave it at this. Everybody just calm down. Let's enjoy the season. We'll get through this. Fly, Eagles, fly, man.